It's Friday, so it must be Friday Facebook Live with Tanya and Alex today. Welcome, everybody. We're very excited. It is, I think it's our first this year, right, Alex?
Exactly, Tanya.
Facebook Live, so we're very excited. First of all, just wanted to give a quick shout out to the Lafora team. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to share this information. This is a free Facebook Live session with one of the top IELTS trainers in the world, UK company Swoosh. And Alex will do a quick introduction, and I think we're going to go straight to the lesson. But before we get there, just a quick introduction, how these Facebook Live sessions got started. If you're joining us for the first time. So my name is Tanya Friedman. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Connetics USA. We're a recruitment company. We specialize in direct hire. We work with hospitals, nursing homes, surgery centers all over the US. And for many years, we've watched how so many of you have struggled with the IELTS. We looked for a partner that we felt would be the right partner to help you to get through this test. And it's a test in all ways, a test of not just your knowledge of English, but also your patience, your perseverance, your discipline, your consistency. And Swoosh are definitely the company that we felt would be a perfect fit. They are a UK company. As many of you know, the criteria in the UK are much higher than what we have in the US. And in the US, obviously 7 in speaking and 6.5 overall. And they have many years of success with helping nurses get through the IELTS. So with that said, I want to hand over to Alex and let's get the mock speaking exam on the road.
Thank you very much, Tanya. So yeah, as Tanya said, we are going to do some speaking mock exams today, and we're going to choose a few students inside our Zoom class. So let us know in the chat box whether you want to be chosen to do a speaking mock exam with our IELTS teacher from the UK, Alex. He's also called Alex. So you're going to have 2 Alexes today, and he will be coming double Alex on Friday. And he is going to come into the class in around about 5 minutes or so. So please, if you do want to take part and you do want to get your speaking assessed by a very highly experienced IELTS teacher from the UK, then please let us know in the chat box. We've got lots of people inside the class. So if you can see the chat box at the bottom on Zoom, you'll be able to see there's a speech bubble. You just click that symbol there, and you can literally say, I want to have my speaking assessed, or yes, please choose me, or something like that. And then we will be able to choose some people. Okay, so and you're watching on Facebook Live as well, we are streaming onto the Connetics IELTS support group along with Swoosh, and Milanis has done a good job, or a great job rather.
I was going to say, Alex, great job.
A great job getting that communicated. And also, if you're watching from Lafora, you might be inside there. So please let us know and just say who you are and which country you're living in, etc. When your exam is, all of these very important details. So let's see who we've got on Facebook as well. So we've got here on Zoom, we've got, let's see who we've got. We've got Charles, we've got Afra, Anne Lorraine, Danica, Gifty, Josel, Mercenario, Kimley, we've got Christine. Oh, Christine, okay, one of our VIP students. Manga, Maximilia, Mila, Munza, Robert, Valeria. Nice to see you all in today's session, and on Facebook Live as well. Let's see who we've got. Lots and lots of people who are watching right now. We've got Brenda, we've got Roxanne, and we've got Tanya Friedman saying, I am here. And we've got Luis as well, who is part of the admin team at Lafora. So great to see you watching as well if you're a Lafora nurse. And we are going to introduce our teacher in a couple of minutes. His name is Alex, and he will be coming into today's session. Please tell us the difficulties you're having with IELTS speaking right now. please let us know, what are the challenges? Have you taken your exam before? Have you been struggling in getting that band score 7? Okay, please let us know in the chat box. How can we help and support you today? We've got more people coming on. Mabel, Jai, Kevin, you want to say something, Tanya?
Yeah, I was just saying, I noticed some people like Brenda or Roxanne are referring people. So please make sure to share this video with everybody, because this, I think this session is going to be really interesting for a lot of people, because this is like a mock exam, right, Alex? So it's not just like us talking about it, we're going to be helping people. And I think sometimes when you see it live, you know, it really hits home, and you can see a lot of the lessons that you need to take home with you. So please make sure that you share this with your friends and colleagues, other people that you know who are struggling with the IELTS. That's really the reason why we're doing this, is to get the word out and to help as many people as possible.
Absolutely, Tanya. So another reason to share today's Facebook Live video is you will actually get our free IELTS welcome pack, which has got lots of video lessons, video course materials, giving you tips, techniques, and strategies on how you can improve your IELTS speaking. But not just your IELTS speaking, we'll give you some tips on reading, writing, and listening as well. So all of that is going to be covered. So all you need to do, if you're on Facebook Live, just share the video, step 1, and then step 2, right underneath the video, I have shared the IELTS live class video. So I have shared the IELTS live class video, type that, and you will get access to the welcome pack that's available to you. So and nobody's written what their difficulties are right now. So please let me know in the chat box, what are your difficulties?
Everybody's saying hello.
Just lots of hellos, and hello to you too.
Hello.
Hello. We've got Raphael, Che Gopez, Marievi, Raphael, Marilena, all tagging their friends. Great stuff. But we need to know, what are your difficulties? Are you having problems with fluency, pronunciation? You're not able to generate ideas once you see the topic card in part 2, or you can't, you don't know how to give examples. What is it that you're finding difficult? Valeria, my last IELTS exam, I got a 7.5 in speaking, and I wish to be coached on writing because I got a 5.5. The rest of the tests I got above 7. However, I wouldn't mind listening to your guidance because I have to redo the exam again. Well, definitely. I mean, you're getting a 7.5 in speaking, Valeria, which is a really good score. But of course, you're struggling in the other areas. So we will definitely do our best to help you. We are going to mainly cover IELTS speaking today, but we can definitely, if you go to our website or send me an email, alex@swooshenglish.com, we'll try to help you out as best as we can. A few people now saying they've got difficulty in speaking, but Leonilla, what specifically are you are you finding difficult with speaking? That's the main thing. What are you finding difficult? Okay. We've got Alex, who's just come into the class, which I can see. I'll just make you co-host, Alex. Okay. So Alex, if you are there, and we have a lot of nurses who are ready to have lessons have the lesson today and the mock exam. So let me know in the chat box if you are ready, if you want to be chosen to do an IELTS speaking mock examination today with our UK IELTS teacher, Alex. Please let us know. So Alex, are you there?
I'm there, yeah. Good to see you.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. I'm good. Are you all right?
Very
Hi,
good.
Alex.
Hi, how you doing, Tanya?
Good,
Okay.
good. We certainly can't forget the name of the day this Friday. Alex, right?
Exactly.
Alex, exactly. So Alex, for anyone who's not been taught by you before, any of the nurses watching on Facebook Live and Zoom, can you just briefly introduce yourself and tell everyone how you can help them with their IELTS speaking today?
Certainly, yeah. So as has been established, my name is Alex. I'm from the UK, and I've been working with IELTS and OET with Swoosh English for the last 9 months. Prior to that, I spent 6 years working abroad in China and South America, and a lot of what I did was IELTS preparation. So I've had a lot of experience working with the IELTS exam, and what I'm here to do today is to share some tips in terms of maybe how to move forward with IELTS speaking performance, and then I look forward to engaging in some mock examinations with some of you here, so that I can give you a little bit of feedback on the different criteria to give some guided focus in terms of how you might move forward in relation to the speaking. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do today.
That's great, Alex. So yeah, let me know in the chat box on Zoom and on Facebook, is everybody ready for today's class? Do you have a pen and paper ready? Okay, I've got I had my pen. I've got it in my pocket. So I've got my pen here. Has everyone got their pen and paper ready? Because we want you to take part. We want you to take notes as much as possible. And ultimately, we want to choose 2 or 3 people to take a mock exam, a speaking mock exam with Alex today, which we would usually charge $50 for, okay, $50 US, but we're going to give a couple of students the opportunity to have a free one today, and that is very exciting. So, and Tanya is looking forward to that as well, aren't you, Tanya? Tanya is looking forward.
I'm very much looking forward to it,
there
Alex.
You go. There you go.
I'm getting my pen and paper ready.
Exactly, you were getting your pen and paper ready. So I'll pass the class over to Alex, and I hope everybody is ready to learn a lot.
We're ready to learn, Alex.
Perfect. Okay, great to hear. Well, first of all then, in terms of the speaking, some questions. Already I can see we've got Charles here in the chat asking about speaking part 3 in terms of what is actually expected of you. What are you supposed to produce within the exam room when you're face-to-face with that examiner? Well, the first thing to remember is that the time for the speaking exam is actually not that long. It's going to be between 11 to 14 minutes. And so within that time, the idea is that you're going to respond to a range of questions which test you in the 4 main criteria. And those criteria are grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and fluency. And if you perform at a high level in each of those criteria, then you're going to get a good score at the end of the exam. So one of the first things that I ask my students to do when it comes to speaking is to begin to assess themselves, to have a look at the criteria and to decide where they think they fit in. So let me just share with you now the IELTS criteria, the band descriptors. So maybe you can have a look at that yourself, and you can make some judgments in terms of where you think you might fit in relation to these criteria. So here they are. So you can see it starts at band 6 and goes all the way up to band 9. So we're looking at the higher scores here in terms of what we're going to achieve. Fluency and coherence, you can see at the lower end of the scale at 6, you can speak at length, although you may lose coherence at times due to occasional repetition. So in terms of coherence, that basically is asking the question, is what you're saying making sense? Does it add up? Does one sentence link naturally to the next sentence, or is it a little bit difficult for the examiner to actually fully understand what it is that you're trying to communicate? The clearer your communication is, and the more natural of a pace that you speak at, the higher your score is going to be. So don't speak too slowly like this, because if you do, then you're going to lose marks when it comes to fluency. But at the same time, if you speak really quickly so that the examiner doesn't really understand what you, if you speak really quickly like I was doing before, then you're going to have problems as well, because the examiner is going to find it difficult to understand everything that you're saying. Sometimes we go in and we feel nervous, and so we do find ourselves speaking very quickly. So one of the first things to do is just to take a moment, take a deep breath, compose yourself, and then hopefully you're going to speak at a natural pace once you get in there. So that's one of the criteria, fluency and coherence. And you'll see as it goes higher up the scale, for 7, for example, you're able to speak at length without any loss of coherence. So what you're saying makes sense. You're able to link your sentences together as you're speaking without too many issues. You don't have to be perfect to get a 7. You still may hesitate, as it says here. You should be able to use connectives, so linking your ideas together, however, but, which, that, you know, any sort of connective you can use to kind of link together your ideas so it becomes a little bit more complex. And it says you should be able to use them with some flexibility. So there might be some repetition there, but you can still get a 7. Obviously, the more variety you use, the higher up the scale you start to get. So that's just using the example of fluency and coherence, but you can look at the descriptors for all of the different areas. Lexical resource, which is essentially your vocabulary, and it's testing you both on your accuracy of lexis, so using the correct vocabulary, but it's also testing you on your range. So are you able to use a variety of lexis, of vocabulary, or do you find yourself repeating the same sorts of words and phrases? And that's also true for grammar. You can see grammatical range and accuracy. So if you're accurate, that's great. But if you're using a really limited range when it comes to the grammar you use, if you avoid using conditionals, for example, if you try and sort of stick to the same sorts of modal verbs, then you're going to find that your sort of grade is going to be limited because you're not using as much range. So the more range that you're able to express in the exam, the better you will perform. Now, one thing to think about, some people like to go in and like to think, okay, right, I want to use a conditional sentence. If I were a millionaire, I would buy lots of fast cars, for example. Something like that. They try and sort of get things that they want to squeeze in. That can work, but you don't want it to come across as scripted. So you're expected to respond to the questions in a natural manner. And really, it's the job of the examiner in the questions that the examiner asks to get a range of language from you. Okay, so there's certain questions that are going to be asked that are going to require, for example, you know, the use of sort of different modal verbs or the use of different tenses, for example. Or the passive voice maybe could come in. So, the questions that are asked are going to kind of determine the sorts of language and grammar that you should be producing. So don't feel like you have to go in with a checklist in terms of all the grammar that you're going to use. Hopefully that should emerge naturally. But in parts of as part of your preparation, as you're preparing for the exam, it might be a good idea to monitor your speaking and to see actually how much range you are producing and the sorts of mistakes that you're making so that you can prepare going in. And this links to another tip, self-recording. It can be a little bit embarrassing, a little bit awkward listening back to our own voice. I know, because these get recorded and sometimes I hear it back and, it can be a little bit awkward. But ultimately, it's something we have to get comfortable with, because if we're able to monitor our own performance via a self-recording, that's one of the best ways that we can start to make improvements. Of course, if you've got a teacher here as well, as we're going to do today, who can give you some feedback once you've actually produced some speaking, then that's going to be really helpful as well. Finally, just quickly on pronunciation, which is the final criterion. Essentially, it's about accuracy, and it's about being clear. If your pronunciation is not clear, then you're going to lose marks because the examiner won't be able to give you credit for some of your responses. So think about that. Are there certain phonemes that you struggle to produce? Do you confuse a p and a b, for example? Do you struggle to hear the difference between a t and a th? Those sort of individual sounds are things that that can gain you grades. It can gain you marks if you're able to produce them correctly, but it can also lose you marks too. Also think about intonation. If you speak really flat like this for the entirety of the test, then you're going to lose the opportunity of gaining some marks for pronunciation, because you should be using intonation appropriately. When you're excited, it should come across that you're excited. And when you're not sure, then it should also come across that you're not quite sure. Your intonation is a way in which you communicate, and that is partly what you're graded on when it comes to the pronunciation criterion. So that's one of the first things that I would start at. Look at the criteria, because the criteria are basically the guide as to what grade you're looking to get in the exam. So just a quick look at some of the questions that have come up here. Yeah, expanding the answer, Max Miller. Yeah, that can be difficult. But remember, part 2 is all about that. So just very quickly on the different sections. So part 1, you don't have to worry so much about expanding your answers. It's a question of giving a response to the question. It's an opportunity to start to warm up a little bit, to get comfortable. You are graded on part 1, but the majority of your grades are going to come in parts 2 and 3, because that's when the language gets a bit more complex, and that's where you have to produce greater levels of fluency. So, you're going to be asked certain things like, How did you get to the test center today? Are you a student? Do you work? What do you like to do in your free time? These are sorts of things that you can predict. So if you've got an idea in your mind about how you might respond to those sorts of questions, then it can help you to feel a bit more comfortable with part one. Part two, you have to speak for between 1 to 2 minutes. So that's when you really need to be practicing how to expand on your answers, how to develop your answers. One of the tips that I give my students is think about the tenses. So the question for part two should allow you to adapt it so you can kind of start with the past. You know, this is how you felt about it in the past. This is how you feel about it now. And in the future, this is how you think you'll feel, or this is how you think things might develop. So if you think about it in terms of telling a story, telling a narrative, that can sometimes help to sort of expand your response so that you're able to reach that 2 minute mark rather than having that awkward silence before that part of the exam has finished. So we'll have a look at that obviously when we do the mock exam. We'll see how that can be responded to, and how well we can do in terms of how long we're able to speak for. And then part three, you want to develop your answers, but this is really where sort of the linking phrases come in, because you want to provide justifications for your responses. So if you're saying, if you get a question, for example, which is, do you think that we're doing enough in order to protect the planet? And your response is no. Well, you need to explain why that is. Is it because we're not doing enough recycling? Is it because we're still using too many fossil fuels, et cetera, et cetera? If you're going down the road of trying to provide reasons for your responses, that naturally is going to see you giving more content. And in giving more content, then the examiner has more that they're able to give you a higher grade on. So those are a few things to think about in terms of making your answers longer and appropriate to the different sections of the exam. Yeah, I've got Grace here saying, I don't speak for 2 to 3 minutes. You'll never have to speak for 3 minutes. It's always going to be a maximum of 2 minutes. So it's something that it comes with practice. Again, as I say, thinking about it as telling a story, telling a narrative, adding those extra details, because part two is always going to be about something personal that relates to you. So if you're able to give those extra details in order to help tell that story, then it's going to mean that you're going to be speaking for a little bit longer. Also, use your imagination. Sometimes you're going to get a question and it's going to be a little bit difficult to answer truthfully. So you can add details. You can be a little bit creative with part two if necessary. The examiner is not interested in whether you're telling him or her the truth or not. What they want is to hear a sample of your speaking. They want to hear that you're able to produce a range of accurate grammar and vocabulary, and that you pronounce it correctly, and that you speak at a natural pace. So the content of the piece, particularly for parts 1 and 2, which is very personal, you can be a bit creative with it if that helps you just to produce language. And that's ultimately the most important thing, that you are producing that language. So yeah, that would be where I would start. Any other questions that have come up here? Yeah, in terms of sort of, so I can see from Valeria, looking at getting from a 6.5 to a 7. This is where the criteria really help, because if you're looking at these criteria and you're following them in a focused manner, then you begin to see, am I really producing more of a 6 or more of a 7? What do I need to do in order to get into a 7? Is it my pronunciation that needs to become more accurate? Do I need to expand a little bit on what I'm saying in order to get a higher grade in terms of fluency? So this is where the band descriptors can help. And the more that we're able to assess our own performance, and also if we're able to get feedback from other qualified teachers who can help to assess our performances, then we can begin to sort of recognize where those weaknesses are and work on those specific weaknesses in order to help us achieve a higher grade. Okay. So I don't know if at this stage whether we want to start looking at doing a mock exam or.
Sure, Alex. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Can everyone let us know in the chat box if you are volunteering to do a mock exam? I know some of you might be a little bit worried, etc. But remember, this is a fantastic opportunity for you to practice your speaking and get feedback from Alex. Okay, and I'll also give you some feedback as well. So 2 Alexes will give you feedback. So please let me know in the chat box if you would like to participate, if your video is working, if your microphone is working, and we'll be able to give you feedback. So please let us know in the chat box if you're in the Zoom session, and if you're watching on Facebook Live, I'll give you the link to register for this class if you want to come inside the class with us. But we've got a lot of people here, Alex. Does anyone want to do the speaking mock exam with Alex? Please let us know in the chat box. Okay, who wants to do the mock exam? Okay, and in the meantime, while we're waiting for people to volunteer, we are going to. I'm going to mention that you can get our free IELTS welcome pack. It's got lots of video lessons to help you with IELTS. All you need to do is to share today's Facebook Live video. If you're on Facebook, share it to your Facebook page, step 1. And then after you've shared it to your Facebook page, step 2, you can write underneath the video, I have shared today's, I've shared the IELTS live class video. So I have shared the IELTS live class video, and you'll get access to that. Okay, so if you do want to do a speaking mock exam, please let us know in the chat box. And we've got Ola Sabomi who wants to do one. So let's see if I can bring Ola Sabomi. See if I can find someone here. Okay, I'm going to bring Ola Sabomi. I'm going to bring you into the session, and you can do a speaking mock exam with Alex. So I've now made you a panelist. Okay. So Valeria says, I'm willing to practice the mock, but I'm scared though. Yeah. I mean, of course, when we're doing something that is, is going to help us a lot, we'll obviously get more scared about it. And the fact that you'd be speaking in front of other people, definitely. Okay. So I'm promote you to panelist, Ola Sabomi. You should be able to come in as a panelist. See what we can do here. Okay. Let's see, Ola. Okay. Okay, you should be able to unmute your microphone now. Are you there? Let's see if we can get over the technical issues. Okay. Okay, Ola Sabomi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi. Oh, I'm so glad. Okay. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Very good. Your connection is perfect. I will hand you over to Alex now, and you will do a speaking mock exam. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm nervous, kind of.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay. So good afternoon, Ola Sabomi, or at least it's afternoon in the UK. How are you today?
I'm good. Good afternoon.
Perfect. Good. Okay then. So I'll start straight away with it. Part 1 is going to focus on general questions. So we'll get going, and good luck. I'm sure it'll be good. So to start with, I'd like to ask some questions about yourself to find out some more about you. Do you work or study?
Actually, I work. I work as a salesman in
Hello? Hi there, Ola Sabomi.
Oh, I think we've lost her, Alex.
Ah.
Oh, no.
That's a shame, just when it was getting started.
Just as we were getting started. She's still there, but for some reason her audio's not working.
Ah.
I can actually see one of our VIP students, Christine Sampson. Would you like to do one with us? See if I can get Christine in.
Okay.
Let's see. Hopefully, Christine can hear us. Christine, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Christine. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Very good, very good. So you'd like to do a speaking mock exam, yeah?
I want to, but I'm scared.
Don't worry, don't worry. This is a great opportunity for you, Christine. I'm sure you'll be super confident once you get started.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll try.
Fantastic. Okay.
Okay, Christine. So as I was just saying to Olusobomi before, we will start part one with very general questions. So first of all, I'd like to get to know something about you. So Christine, do you work or study?
Now I'm currently working as a nurse for 7 years here in Singapore. Usually I'm assigned in a medical surgical ward.
Okay, and how long have you been studying English?
Actually, during my secondary and my high school, way back in the Philippines, we already have a subject of English, and also during our college days.
Okay, very good. I want to ask you some questions about keeping in contact with people. How do you usually contact your friends?
Come again?
How do you usually contact your friends?
Oh, do you mean how I usually contact with my friends?
Yes.
Yeah, for nowadays, because of the technology, we always go for, we usually use such as Facebook Messenger, Instagram, or we can use Skype to communicate, especially most of them are working and staying in the other part of the country.
Do you prefer to contact different people in different ways?
Yeah, I prefer to contact them because nowadays because of the time differences, right? We are unable to have a face-to-face conversation. At least we can able to leave a message or just an email for them, even though we're not talking that much. At least we can keep in touch, even though for so long we haven't been in contact with each other.
Okay. Do you find it easy to keep in contact with friends and family?
Do you mean what do you mean? Sorry.
Do you find it easy to keep in contact with friends and family?
Yeah. It's definitely easier to contact family member or friends currently because of the online or the internet. Unlike before, we need to use a pen and paper just to do a snail mail or just do audio recording just to send it to our family members or our friends.
Okay. In your country, did people in the past keep in contact in the same ways as they do today?
Unfortunately not, because that time we're not yet like what do you call this? It's not like the technology is not like rampant compared us now. So usually way back about I think 10 years ago, usually they're using a pen and paper just to write personal messages to each and everyone.
Okay. I'd like to ask now about your hometown or village. What kind of place is your hometown?
Oh, my hometown is located in the central part of the Philippines. So it was called Manila. Is it the busiest part of Philippines, especially in Manila? So it was being located as the northwest of the Manila, and it's called the Quezon City, where you can see that mostly are government facilities like general hospitals.
Okay. What's the most interesting part of your town?
What's the interesting part of my talent?
Of your town?
Of my town? I think the interesting part of my town is we have a small park there that usually, even though it's a busy town, we still can have a time for us to relax in because on the town we have like a small park that we can play, and then we can have a small walk with our pets or with our loved ones.
Okay. Okay. We're now moving on to the next part of the test. I'm going to share a topic with you that you will talk about for between 1 to 2 minutes. Okay. You're going to have a minute to think about what you're going to say in relation to this topic. You may make some notes on the topic if you wish. So I'm going to share this with you now. Okay. Can you see this clearly, Christine?
Describe a party that you enjoyed.
Yes, exactly. Okay,
Those.
so you've got 1 minute to prepare your response. As I said, you may make notes if you wish.
Okay.
Okay, so Christine, please describe a party that you enjoyed.
The party that I enjoyed is my own birthday party. It was celebrated last year. It is and I enjoy it because I celebrated with in an orphanage with my family and my friends. So it was being celebrated in one of the orphanage here in my place, and then we have like 50 to 60 children was being abandoned by their families. So we're having a small games for the kids, and then also a gift giving and a small food giving with as well. So I enjoy this because I can see the smile of their children, even though they have like a hard time to cope what happened to their lives, that they was being abandoned by their parents. But you can see how happy they are when you're giving the food, and then we're giving the gifts, and then you're going to and they're having a small party, even though it's not for them. So I felt enjoyed because at the end of the celebration they thanked me, and then they prepared some intermission number that they sang a song for me for the end of the celebration.
What did you most enjoy about this party?
I enjoyed the most is when they're doing the playing games. For example, that time one kid approached me, and then they're asking me, can I join them with the party with the games? And I said yes, and then I feel like I'm being a kid again at heart with them.
Would you like to go to a party like this again?
Yes, definitely. I will go to this kind of party again, because for me to return back whatever blessing that I have before. So I want to share it with others, especially with the kids.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So could you tell me what are the main reasons why people organize family parties in your country?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, and people making a party just to gather, or it's just like small reunion for the other family members to come over for a longer period of time that they haven't seen each other. So I think that's the reason why they're celebrating, or they're organizing some kind of celebrations in my hometown.
In some places, people spend a lot of money on parties that celebrate special family events. Is this ever true in your country?
I think because in my country, I grew up in a small town, so most probably the people there is not so they're not using to spend more money in celebrations. They prefer it to be done at home rather than in an extravagant or expensive kind of a hotel.
Do you think this is a good trend or a bad trend?
It depends on the people how they prefer to celebrate their birthday party. But for me, I prefer to have a small gatherings with my close friends and with my family members in my own place.
What kinds of national celebration do you have in your country?
Oh, the national celebration we have is just recently what happened last January 9 is the feast of the Black Nazarene. So usually they're going to have a celebration from morning till dawn. So usually the people were going to march from the church, and then they're going to make a whole round and go back to the church, but it will take time about 9 to 12 hours because of the people was being congested by the people, and then because of the traffic as well.
Who tends to enjoy national celebrations more, young people or old people?
I think the most people enjoy the national celebration is the old people, because for us as a Catholic, most of the old people preferring the old ways of celebrating it, because nowadays youngsters is like they want to have like a party than doing some kind of rituals or celebrating a national occasions in our country.
Why do you think some people think that national celebrations are a waste of government money?
Oh, come again, sorry.
Why do you think some people think that national celebrations are a waste of government money?
Oh, actually, for me, the national celebration is just part of our culture that we need to celebrate. It doesn't mean that the government is wasting their money unless they're going to spend it extravagantly with some of the giveaways or some of decoration. But it depends on the government who are going to control the budget for the celebration as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Christine. That is the end of the test.
Wow, Christine, well done.
Yeah, it was good.
Very good.
Oh my God, I know.
Well done, Christine.
Christine, how do you feel? Christine?
I feel so nervous. I don't know, my heart was so fast.
I thought she was very confident, Alex. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Particularly by the time we got to section 3, you were expanding on your answers. You were giving lots of detail. You seemed like you were really engaged and involved in it. Yeah, I thought it was good. Okay, so
I feel so shaky.
You feel shaky. It's the adrenaline. It's the adrenaline rush. Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely. So, Christine, the thing to think about then, as I was saying at the beginning of the class, you want to think about the criteria. So the fluency, the grammar, the vocabulary, and the pronunciation. So looking at the fluency, as I was just saying to Alex before, you did a really good job in section 3 there in terms of giving lots of details in your answers. You spoke at a natural pace. It was easy to follow what you were saying. You weren't speaking too quickly. You weren't speaking too slowly. So you showed that you had a lot of confidence and ability when it comes to speaking in a fluent manner in English. So that was really strong. I think. No worries. I think all I would say in that regard is for part 2 is that you for that section, obviously you want to speak up to a maximum of 2 minutes, and you did stop a little bit short there. So I had to, So think about how you could maybe have added a little bit more detail to part 2. So I was suggesting before, you could talk about, because in this case we were looking at celebrations, a party that you enjoyed. So actually one of the questions that I asked was on the card when I said, what did you particularly enjoy about the party. So, you know, you could have developed on that a little bit more potentially. You could have said, you know, my favorite thing about the party was this, this, and this.
Okay.
Yeah, and remember when I was talking before about sort of beginning in the past, then coming into the present, and then finishing in the future. If you realize that you're stopping a little bit early, then you can start talking about the future. So, you know, I'd love to go to this party again. My plan is that maybe next month or next year, I will go to the same one again. Who will you go with? Which part of the city is it going to happen in? What clothes are you going to wear? You know, anything that you can think of, because you're demonstrating your fluency. So yeah, you really did that really well in part 3, but you could have done a little bit more in part 2, just so that you're hitting that 2-minute mark. So that was good. I mean, I thought, you know, pronunciation generally was really clear. I could understand what you were saying at most stages. I would just say sometimes with the intonation, and it can sometimes be because of the connection as well, but sometimes with the intonation, I thought maybe it could have sort of varied a bit just to help with clarity at times, because there were 1 or 2 words that were lost because you said something about technology. Technology is not, and then I didn't quite get that word. So maybe just with a little bit more stress or with a bit more variety, it could have just made that a bit clearer. But generally, it was really clear. You used a range of vocabulary. Lots of stuff was coming up there, which was nice, and you were linking your ideas together. So again, that's the fluency aspect of it. With grammar, I thought your grammar was generally was good, was pretty solid, but you're overusing a little bit the ing forms, I think. So you said things like the people is not using to spend so much money. So yeah, in this case, you want to say that people are not used to spending so much money, or people don't usually spend so much money. So just be careful with too much ing. In your speaking. That might be something to kind of listen out for if you do a self-recording, and then you can think, okay, you know, am I using it a little bit too much, and you know, what might be an alternative there. But yeah, there was a lot of good stuff as well. But yeah, and also like people is a common error that I hear quite a lot. But of course, people is plural, so every time you're saying people, it's, you know, the people are this and the people are that. But yeah, you know, overall, I thought it was really solid. So well done for having the courage to come and do this, because hopefully it's going to be really useful practice, because obviously when you do the exam, you're going to feel nervous. So it's really good to have this experience that you can use to help you in the exam.
Alex, what score would you give?
This is the question, isn't it? So
that's what we all want to know.
Beta bread. Yeah. That's good. So I think, you know, the looking at the different criteria, I think with fluency, I think you did enough to get a 7 in terms of fluency. I would say also with vocabulary, I think you did enough to get a 7 there. I think with grammar, just because some of the errors that were coming up, I think you're looking more at a 6 or a 6.5, possibly there with a few of the errors that came up. And pronunciation as well, I think, I just think a little bit more intonation would have helped to make it a bit clearer. So I'd probably go with a 6.5 there. So I think you're looking at between a 6.5 and a 7, I would say.
So 6.75, Christine. If that was such a grade, if it was a grade that existed, it was a 6.75. That's what you would get.
There you go. That's what you would get. They usually round it up in those circumstances, so you'd probably get your 7 there.
So I like some of your vocabulary, Christine. You used words like extravagant, which is really good vocabulary to use.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
So Christine, well done. How do you feel about those scores?
What's the final score again? 6.7.
Well, between 6.5 and a 7, Alex said.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have to agree with him.
Okay, sure. I'm just going to work it out.
Yeah, keep working hard. Okay, you've got our live classes every week right now as one of our students on our paid program. So I look forward to continuing to help you. You only had your first class earlier today, Christine. So so a very good attempt for just after your first lesson with us.
Okay.
Well done, Christine.
Yeah,
so remember, Christine, to practice, and the same for all of you watching right now. Practice, but it's really important that you get feedback as well. So that's what Alex is doing for Christine today. He's giving feedback and then a band score estimation, so you know what level you're at. If you don't have that right now, then sometimes it can be difficult to make those improvements. If you're, I always say the wall, you can speak to the wall, but the wall doesn't reply back to you, and the wall doesn't give you feedback and band score estimation. So you can speak to yourself and practice, or you can speak to your friends. But if your friends are not at that level where, you know, where maybe if your friends have passed the exam before, they got 7s or 8s, maybe they could give you some feedback and give you some corrections. But a teacher is always the best way, okay, of actually improving your score. I don't know if you've got anything to add on that, Alex.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all I would say is that once you've got that feedback from a teacher, it can be useful to do the self-recordings and to see what is still occurring in terms of those errors. But definitely, it helps to have a teacher who can help you to recognize what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses, so that you can then sort of keep working on it, both with a teacher and as well keep working on it when you do have the opportunity to listen back to yourself too.
Exactly. So well done, Christine.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let's choose one more, Alex. Let me see who else wants to do a mock exam. Please let me know in the chat box. Okay, I will choose somebody and I'll bring them in to become a panelist. Okay, so I'm going to choose Janine. Janine, are you there? So let me see, I'll bring you in as a panelist. Okay, let's see if I can see you, Janine. So our second female nurse of the day. Janine, are you there? See if I can bring her in. Janine. Hello, Janine, are you there?
Hello.
Hello, Janine, can you hear me? Hello, Janine, I could hear you. You said hello.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
Yeah. Hello, Janine.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Very good, very good. Are you ready to do a speaking mock exam with Alex?
Yeah, very excited.
I'm sure you'll perform fantastically well, Janine. So did you learn a lot from Christine's mock exam?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay,
Yes.
good. So I will pass you over to Alex now and he'll do a mock exam with you. So what I want to say to everybody else, please pretend this is your mock exam. What would you say in the scenario that Alex presents Janine with? How would you respond? Think about this from your perspective, and also in the chat box, definitely give your feedback on what you think of Janine's performance, okay? And even Christine's from the one that we just did a couple of minutes ago. What was good or bad about their grammar? What was, you know, what could they have improved with their vocabulary? What words did they use that you felt was very impressive and at that band score 7 and above level? Some aspects of their pronunciation you think they could have improved, in their fluency, etc. So please participate as much as possible. Like I said before, but writing down notes, but also to participate in the class. If you're on Zoom, please message your feedback inside our chat box, and on Facebook Live, if you're in Lafora, please also type your messages in there as well. So Janine, I'll pass you now over to Alex.
Okay, nice to meet you, Janine.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Okay, so we'll get started just as with Christine. With section 1, there are general questions so that we get to find out something more about you. So Janine, do you work or study?
Right now, I'm currently working on the freestanding hemodialysis almost 4 years already.
Where are you working, sorry?
In a freestanding hemodialysis unit.
Okay, do you enjoy it?
Yes, I'm enjoying it a lot
Why?
because in everyday situation, I'm having an encounter with all kinds of people and all kinds of patients in different cases, and I'm learning a lot from them, and they're also learning a lot from me.
Okay, so I'd like to ask you a bit about your accommodation, Janine. Tell me about the kind of accommodation you live in.
Right now, I am currently living in a dormitory, near at my workplace.
Okay, and how long have you lived there?
I'm living here for almost 3 years already.
Okay. And what do you like about living there?
What I like the most, what I like is that I can do the things I want to do, and I can study peacefully here.
Okay. What sort of accommodation would you most like to live in?
Again, sorry.
What sort of accommodation would you most like to live in? Hello, Janine? Have we lost Janine?
Yeah, hi Alex. Yeah, I can't hear her.
No, I can't either.
Janine, are you there? Oh no. Technology issues.
Yeah.
Janine, are you there? No. Oh no. Well, Alex, I think well, let's see if we can get Janine back in. We won't have time to have another person do a speaking mock exam. But if you can give some feedback on what you thought of what Janine, I think she gave us enough to give her some kind of feedback. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought what she was producing was pretty good. I mean, obviously for section 1, it's the least challenging of the 3 sections, but there was already good evidence of a strong vocabulary store. So she was talking about things like everyday situations. She mentioned that she was living in a dormitory, and her pronunciation was accurate as well. And she was giving, I would say, a good sample of in terms of the sort of length of the responses that she was giving. She wasn't giving unnecessary detail, but she was giving enough detail to answer the questions fully. I did notice a couple of grammar mistakes. I think she talks about near at her workplace rather than near her workplace or near to her workplace. And then she also mentioned that she said, I'm living, when I asked her how long she'd been living at her accommodation, she said, I'm living there for, I think she said 3 years already. Whereas, you know, she'd want to be using the present perfect continuous. I've been living there would be the correct way of producing that. So I think, yeah, pretty strong on the vocabulary. A couple of grammar mistakes. She was speaking at a natural pace, which was good, but I think I'd need a bit more of a sample to sort of make a judgment in terms of sort of fluency level, because that comes in more with section 2. But she sounded to me like a strong candidate, and you know, if she can come back, it would be good. But if not, we got a bit of a sample from her. Yeah, I would say probably quite similar to how Christine approached part 1. You know, I would say sort of looking, you know, around about a sort of, you know, a strong 6.5, and then it would have been interesting to see how she would have progressed from there.
Thank you very much for your feedback, Alex. Yeah, I think some of her answers, I think she could have extended them a little bit more, right, and been a bit more detailed with her responses. But I thought it was definitely a good attempt for what we for the limited time that she actually spoke for. So very well done, Janine. And I think what we could, like I said, I don't know, maybe we could sneak in someone for a few minutes. I think if maybe you could just have someone who can come in for just a few minutes, and there are people in the Lafora Facebook group who want to try and do this and take part in the speaking mock exam, but you have to come into the class because you're only in Lafora right now. We're in Zoom. We've got a lot of students inside the Zoom class, and we've put the registration link in the video underneath the Lafora video. So you need to click that and then put your email address details in, and then you can get access to the class here. But I'll see if I can choose someone. Let me know if you want to try. I can still see Janine here, so I don't know if she can still hear us. Janine, are you there? No, I'm not able to unmute her for some reason. Let's see who we've got. I think we've got Josel, who was one of our Connetics nurses before, who has been on our program before. Josel, are you there? Josel is also from the Philippines, I believe.
Okay.
And we've had 2 Filipinos there. Josel, are you there? Hello, Josel?
Hello.
Hi, Josel. How are you?
I'm good.
Hi. Would you like to do a partial speaking mock exam with Alex?
Okay, partial also.
A partial one.
Yeah, partial one only. I'm not really ready. I'm reluctant to talk.
Don't worry, Josel. I'm sure you'll be great.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay.
Okay, so what we could do then is we could start with section 2 and 3 because we had a go with section 1 with Janine. So Josel, how do you feel? Do you feel like you're ready to get going with section 2?
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's have a go then, Josel. So I'm going to bring up a question, and I want you to have a look at this question. You're going to have a minute to prepare your response, and then you should talk for 2 minutes on the topic. Okay. So let me bring up the question now. Okay, can you see the screen here, Josel?
Okay. Yes, I can see.
Perfect. Okay then. So you will have a minute to prepare for the topic. You should be expected to talk about the topic for between 1 to 2 minutes. Okay. You can make some notes if you wish. So you have a minute beginning from now.
Wow.
Okay then, Josel. So describe an idea you had for improving something at work or college.
The idea that
Hello, Josel.
yeah.
Okay.
The idea that that I had to improve at my at my uh, at my work is uh, to get up early because before I'm always late at work. So um, because before during like 2 years ago, I received a letter of tardiness. So since then, I'll make sure that I come to work early. So what I did, I'm sleeping in early at nighttime, and I'll make sure that everything, all my things are prepared before getting up in the morning. And so that would be all I could say.
Okay. And who did you tell about your idea?
Um, I share it with my friends. So they also add some suggestions, some suggestion as well.
Okay. And why did you think your idea would make an improvement?
Oh, it's I think because
I'm not late anymore, and my supervisor uh what do you call this one? Appreciated me for not being late anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a few questions then, Josel, which would make up part 3.
Yeah.
Just bring these up now. So some people think that education should be about memorizing the important ideas of the past. Do you agree or disagree?
I'm partially agree. Yeah, I partially agree because the memories of the past will be a continuous of the future. So that's my perspective.
Okay. Should education encourage students to have their own new ideas?
Yes, I believe on that statement.
Why?
Um, the old ideas and the old ideas and the new ideas, if it if it's if it's incorporated, maybe there will be a better or better excellent um output if
Okay.
they put all together.
How do you think teachers could help students to develop and share their own ideas?
I think educators can encourage the student to give their ideas telling them to by writing or by writing and also encouraging them. What else? Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for that then, Joseph. So obviously we didn't manage to get the full test in, but we got a good sample in there. We did the whole of section 2, and we got a good part of section 3 done as well.
Yeah.
So
Well done,
yeah.
Josel. I thought that was very good. How do you feel?
That's my problem really during speaking. I don't know what I mean. I'm struggling to generate ideas with the task too.
Sure, sure. I could kind of sense that. I don't know about you, Alex, because I can't remember which question you asked, Alex, but Joseph started with I believe on that statement, and then you stopped talking.
Yeah.
But you need to continue, and then
Yeah.
Alex had to ask you. He had to ask you why.
Yeah.
So, but really, what you should be doing, I believe in that statement because.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and use that or and the reason is blah blah blah, or due to the fact that. So continue that sentence. Don't stop speaking. A lot of students, and Alex will say this as well, they give very short answers. If you give short answers, you're not going to get a band score 7. So sometimes as well, Joe. So like you said, you're not sure about generating ideas. When you say I believe or I firmly believe in this statement or I strongly believe, you're using an adverb as well to make your sentence more detailed, more descriptive, and you're showing off your vocabulary. You're impressing the examiner with your vocabulary. So sometimes, even if you don't have an idea of what to say next, you go, I firmly believe in this statement because blah, blah, blah. And then you're able to think of something else. You've given yourself an extra few seconds to come up with something. So when you said that word because, you had no idea what you were going to say.
Yeah.
You said because, and then you went because, and it's like light bulb comes on, and then you know what to say next. So just keep going.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I forget the question again. That's why what was the question that is my mind, but I'm shy to ask again, something like that.
I think
Registered in my head.
also, Joseph, did you, Alex was saying it at the beginning of the session, but did you actually make notes for part 2? Did you write down some ideas?
Yeah, but I don't know what idea I would like to tell.
Okay.
What idea I will discuss if it's work, and I'm running out of time to think what I will give, what idea I will give, something like that.
So you're probably overthinking the content, and this is what I was saying before.
Yeah.
Really, the content is, again, you can invent something. So something you improved at work or school, you can say, oh, okay, I changed the lunch timetable because of the fact that a lot of students were complaining that it was too early and we wanted to have it later because we weren't hungry. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have got to be a little bit creative with it, because if you're spending too much time trying to think of a specific example, then you do end up wasting time. Really, it's just an opportunity to just sort of make some notes, some ideas. First thing that comes into your mind, whether it's true or false, first thing that comes into your mind, make some ideas, make some notes against the ideas, and then you're going to have more content to talk about. Because some of the questions I was asking as follow-up questions for part 2 were from that card. So, you really need to be answering all of the parts on that card. So literally just things about like who you told about your idea, why you thought your idea would make an improvement. You hadn't spoken about that in the original speech that you were making. So you do need to make sure you're addressing all of those parts of the card in order to answer the task fully and to speak for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Just go with it. Go with it.
Josel, did that feedback help you?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what you need to do to improve your speaking moving forward?
Again?
Do you know what you need to do with your speaking moving forward?
Yeah.
Okay. See, because I'm guessing that you're not having a lot of practice right now. Is that right?
Yes, all right.
Okay. That's why you're having difficulty generating ideas, because when you're doing a lot of practice and you're getting feedback from a teacher, etc., then you're able to come up with ideas a lot more quickly.
Yes.
Okay. So and also that will improve your confidence as well, because I could sense you a little bit nervous. Well, you said you were nervous before, but that comes from practice. The more you practice, the better you get, as the practice makes perfect, as the cliche goes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So well done, Josel. Very confident of you to do that in front of so many people. I don't know if Tanya's there, what you thought, Tanya, but I think she did a really good job, and she just got a few things to improve.
Hi, Josel.
Hi.
Josel, you're one of Connetics nurses, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Josel, we hope to see you in California soon. But I just wanted to say to Josel, Janine, and Christine, thank you so much for being so brave and so courageous, because it takes a lot of guts to get on this call in front of everybody and do something that is nerve-wracking when it's even just a one-on-one situation. So just the fact that you stepped up and that you were brave enough to do it is, really just amazing. And I think that you really need to be commended on that. The one thing that, I was just thinking to, just for both Alex's, is that when Josel was speaking specifically at the end, and even Christine as well, Janine, unfortunately, I think got cut off in the beginning, but both Christine and Josel were more fluent in our discussion afterwards. And I think the thing that was kind of interesting to me of, when we're speaking about I was just making some notes, like the fluency, the vocab, pronunciation, all of those things. But the interesting thing to me, just watching this, because this is the first time I've seen a mock exam, is that the participation was much more fluent in the discussion afterwards. And it really goes back to that overthinking it, because you could almost see, all three of them overthinking, and then the nerves set in, and then you kind of get blocked in your brain gets blocked.
Yeah.
So I think that was something that was really interesting. And then it goes back, as you said, to the practice. Yeah. And if you can't have a teacher, really make sure that you have a study partner. And if you can't get a study partner, make sure that you're recording yourself, because I think those areas of practice are extremely helpful. Yeah. And really important to get out of your head, because that really kind of is something that really just struck me in watching it, is that overthinking.
Yeah, but the thing is, for everyone who's watching, okay, with that practice, when Tanya says if you can't get a teacher, but everybody should be able to get a teacher, because if you've taken your exam, okay, because a lot of people say they don't have the financial resources, okay, but what we want you to do, we don't want you to take the exam 3, 4, 5 times. If you took the exam once and you found a good quality teacher who's helped students to pass, and you paid for a course, then you would pass a lot quicker. You would get your American dream with Connetics quicker, or you know, whichever agency you're with, etc. And you would not need to keep taking months and months and months of preparation time to do all of these things. You'd save money as well in the long run. So if you can find a teacher or find a school out there, you know, and I'll tell you a little bit, you know, obviously if you need help and you like these classes today, of course, you can email me, alex@swooshenglish.com. We can see how we can help you. But that is the big thing, is to get the practice and to get the feedback. Because like I said before, you can practice as much as you want to the wall, but the wall will not give you the feedback that you need. So that's why a teacher, it can be really important. But like Tanya says, if you want a study partner, then I think, Tanya, they can join our IELTS support group. The Connetics IELTS support group will really help them if you're part of that. Just go ahead and register with Connetics agency if you're not registered with an agency right now, and join our Facebook group, and we'll give you lots of help and support and resources in there. So perhaps, Tanya, our teams can put the link for them for the Connetics IELTS support group, and you can join that Facebook group there as well.
And yes, thank you, Alex. So, you know, just for everybody as well, just to be clear, this is not about Connetics. This is not about Swoosh. This is about you. And these are just, you know, this is just a suggestion. If you're looking for a study partner, you're welcome to join the Connetics support group. It is free. And we are sharing information, up with a study partner. There is no, you know, no strings attached. It's a free resource. We're just trying to help you to get to the US, and as we said, to make your American dream come true. The IELTS is a huge stumbling block. It's really a difficult test to get through, and we're just trying to look at ways to support you as much as possible.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for coming along to the class today, everybody. I really appreciate you taking time out, and especially I just want to echo the sentiments of Tanya about all 3 ladies who got involved, Christine, Janine, and Joselle, who had so much confidence to get involved when there were so many people watching, probably around about 90 people on Facebook Live, and so many people on Zoom as well. So well done to all of you. There have been a lot of students who've been asking about how they can get practice. We had so many students saying, I want to do a mock exam, I want to do a mock exam, but of course we could only choose a few people.
I think what we've got to do, sorry to interrupt you, Alex, but I was just thinking, I think we've got to do another free Facebook Live session with another mock exam, maybe.
Well, maybe we can do one of those in February. But obviously, I do know that students have got their exams coming up very soon, and some students have been asking about whether we've got some programs that we can offer them. So if you email alex@swooshenglish.com, I put that link inside the Lafora group, and if you want to find out about an upcoming speaking program that we are doing, then just email in there, okay, and I'll tell you more details. So thank you so much for everyone who's come along today, and that IELTS speaking course, we're going to do video courses and live classes, and they're going to start very, very soon. So email me on that, and anything else you need from us, like I said, study partners, we will give you access to the Connetics IELTS support group. And aside from that, thank you so much for everyone who's come along today. I really appreciate you coming along and taking part in the class. And we'll tell you, obviously, we've got a lot of free materials as well for you at swooshenglish.com. So go ahead, and I look forward to helping you pass. So thank you very much to everyone, and especially the 3 girls who took part in today's IELTS speaking class. And I hope you have all the success in the world you need to achieve your American dream.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Joselle. And sorry, Alex squared, double Alex. for today. I think it was really informative. I hope that we all learned a lot. And hopefully we will see you all in the US soon. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Alex, and another Alex.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so thank you very much to everyone. I'm going to stop the Facebook live stream now. So thank you very much to everyone on the forum who was watching.